There was lights and rooms around this room, but not in this room. Just because I thought it'd feel a bit more cozy. No, no. Every time I'm in a dark room at very late at night, I think way too much. So, this long video, I'm sure no one's gonna see it, probably. If anyone does, they probably won't see the whole thing, they won't hear all that I have to say. Maybe someone does, hopefully. It'd be nice if someone listened. I'll stop saying this now so you don't click out. But, the pandemic was weird. So, the weird thing was, I'm incredibly sure, I realize I don't actually know that much about the pandemic. I was very young when it happened. It's weird to think that I was very young when it happened. It feels like it wasn't that long ago. And by technicality, it wasn't. It ended not too long ago. 4 years ago, actually. 4? Is that when it ended? I guess that's when the quarantine ended, not like the other stuff. You still had to wear a mask for a while. Not too long afterwards, though. Like a quarter of the year after. Just that, like, it ended in like a pivotal moment for me. Before the pandemic, like directly before it, I moved to a new school, and because I had to keep switching between like 2 different schools. So at school A, and then they had to rebuild because of a hurricane. So I go to school B, I meet some new people there. Very fun. And then I have to leave that to go back to school A when it's fully rebuilt. Pretty much a new school. I meet a few of the older people that I used to know there. Find some new people. I finally settle in. Quarantine starts. I didn't like that. You'd probably imagine that when a kid is in quarantine, they watch videos, play video games all day. But like, friends are like you have fun when you're with friends. You have ideas, you tell them to friends, they shape your mind. Not having that just makes things terrible. So it really wasn't that good at all. So I really didn't like it that was happening right when I was settling in. The day directly before quarantine started, I made a new friend. And he was like incredibly chill guy, incredibly friendly. I don't know where that friendship would have gone, but I can never know now. Because after the quarantine, I've never met any of those people ever again. Everyone from elementary, I'm no longer friends with. In fact, I think just one I actually met up again in middle school. Entirely different person now. None of my friends like them. I didn't even like that person anymore. It's a bit strange now. Anyways. So yeah, that started, and like it's definitely different in all states, the way they're doing quarantine and when it started. Because I remember before the quarantine started, people were talking about COVID and pandemic. Like people were like talking about the whole quarantine thing before it started. I got the idea of it without actually being in it. I just knew COVID was happening, so it didn't feel weird at all. Yeah. This looks blue in the camera for some reason. Okay, no it doesn't. Screw that. So yeah, it was that, and it's like even when the quarantine started, it was very different from how it was in, like how I was hearing about it. It seems a lot stricter from what I was hearing. Because like for me, I was still able to pretty much go outside. People still could do that and go out to places, just not as often and not to as many places. Online stuff was becoming more common, of course, but like school stopped. A lot of work stopped. And I used to go to the YMCA as a kid. I had to stop doing that because of the pandemic. And then after the pandemic, I never went back. It was like such a big because like I went there for as long as I could remember back then. The very beginning. And like, there's a lot more sociable opportunities there than at school. A lot more activities with people, free time at the beginning and end of the day, doing anything with everyone, and then activities you do with them at all times, or in between that. Do sports with them, communicate with them. Snack time, you're sitting with all your friends eating snacks. Maybe a counselor is telling a story. Sometimes we did like experiment things. Like I remember we were putting water into paper plates and then putting Skittles in them, and then they turned white. Very cool. We did random activities like that. It was a good time. When that stopped, I think that's what caused my social anxiety. It was not very good after the pandemic for me. You go pretty much a year, not like, because it was very close to the beginning of the year, of the school year, when um, the quarantine started. Go pretty much a full year, just not talking to anyone except for my own family. My father's always in his office or at work. My brother's always in his room. My mother, I don't even remember that much of quarantine. I don't think work was still happening. Especially not their job. They own their own company. They can't really have their own regulations. I don't think they were working. Still, not that much was happening. So, um, so there was that. No talking to any new people for an entire year as a kid, and then Zoom starts. It happened in the middle of the next year, and you're on there not having any more meaningful things you can say anymore. There's no more stuff goes on in your mind at that point. Not many opportunities to say anything either, and all the kids there usually have their cameras off. They say nothing. There's no communication happening. It's just not good. It really didn't help at all. And then afterwards, like the only time you saw those kids in person was during an ELG and the graduation. This is my last year at elementary, and then the quarantine ended, and middle school started. So after that, I was very awkward in the 6th grade, very quiet. It was not a good time at all. I changed quite a lot into like who I see myself as now through middle school. So it was a very big part, but that means I always think of it as like, oh, that was such a good time. It took me a lot longer than it did for my friends to realize it wasn't at all. No one liked it. 6th grade. Someone might be in the other room. I'm not sure. I don't know. You can hear that TV in the other room. I'm sorry. Spanish SpongeBob. Very awkward in 6th grade, which led to me settling in at 7th grade. Really not. Just like because like when it came to like the people who talked a lot, like the popular kids, the funny kids, I was still very quiet. But any other chance, I was very obnoxious actually. Absolutely insufferable. I did not like that 7th grade self. My friend Ember always told me that he does not like 7th graders, just in general. 7th graders are bad. When he was in 7th grade, they were bad, and even he was bad back then. He admits that. He does not like that time. And I was thinking, that was a great time. What do you mean? It wasn't. It really wasn't. I was incredibly obnoxious. I have a bunch of, there's like a bunch of recordings of me just like shouting out in the middle of a class. Like, not like a core class, in an elective class where there's a bit more freedom and liberty. But like, even so, it's so weird to see a bunch of recordings of me shouting out in class, swearing. That's not me. That doesn't seem like me. I really hate that. And because at 6th grade, you get used to like everyone else start maturing by that point. That's why middle school is its own thing. You get into the double digits in age after 10, because that's the first one. 10 goes with the other ones, goes with 9, and all the other ages. You turn 11, that's its whole new thing. You start changing. A lot of kids with mature humor just thinking, that's weird. 7th grade, get used to it. You think you're mature. You're not. You know about the weird stuff and start swearing. You think that's because you're mature. Doing that is not mature. In 8th grade, you realize that. I realized I was so obnoxious back then. I was annoying. I was awful back then. I was the worst person I knew at that time. And that made me incredibly self-conscious in the 8th grade. And just like incredibly insecure about everything. The things I think, the way I looked, literally everything. It wasn't very good, and like that kind of led me to like halfway through that year, think just like reflecting on things, and I turned a lot to philosophy. For some reason, because with philosophy, I was reflecting on all these things, realizing what's going on, teaching myself a bunch of things, and then going, very good thoughts, get it, and then more experience, realizing average thoughts. These are just random things from a middle schooler. What am I thinking? These are not exactly nothing, just not as big as I was making them out to be. Yeah, it was just a bit better towards the end of the year. Still, all those worries were just like not as big as they were towards the beginning of the year. All my worries were like behind main stuff in my mind. And then over the summer, I found that I didn't do well, and I wasn't able to talk to people. It was so over the summer I was just like not having many places to really say things all that much, and so I get very bad mentally. I wouldn't say depressed. No, I don't think I would really describe it like that. I don't think it was exactly that. I was in an incredibly bad mental state and thinking about it so often over that summer. And it took me a long time to like really assess all those things, and I've learned a lot from it. Like all those worries are, for the most part, gone. I start to fully, to like just to say like for the most part, I understand myself now. Especially the good parts. The bad parts are still kind of like how I was thinking of them the year before, all the times before. Just a bit smaller, but still with big things to think about. They're still there, just as much, but feel a bit smaller. Just for them to show up just as much, nearly as much, I guess. Like all the thinking, like reflect on the good things. Oh, I'm an artist. I'm an actor, kind of musician, stuff like that. And then the bad stuff. Everyone around me is so much better at the stuff that I like. And then I think, am I overreacting? What am I thinking about? Is it healthy for me to say I'm overreacting? Is any of this true? What am I saying? It just keeps getting there. And like, but still, I would say I'm the best I've ever been. The happiest I've ever been while being in this show. Because like, in general, how do you beat a kindergartner? That's as happy as can be. It's like, who I am now, I would say, is from like changing after the quarantine to being this whole new person. This is the best it's ever been, honestly. I really understand all. I'd say I pretty much understand all of it for now. Of course, not absolutely. I don't think anyone absolutely does. I slightly less than someone who thinks they do. But that's where I am now. And like because of that, I try not to think about this stuff. I don't entirely try to shove it down because I know that's not healthy. I know that now. I made that mistake a lot last year. Just like shoving in deep inside bad things that I should really be paying more thought to. Just thinking better not to do that until I was just like, friends should be the type of people to understand. Apparently, it was a bad idea still, and that just made it all the more worse. But now, I don't think that stuff is off to now, so I don't really have to say it too much. And I don't have to, I try not to. Another bad thing to think about. I often think of myself as a burden to the people around me. If I want to say all of that stuff to them, I'm thinking it's gonna burden them with like health factors, and they're not gonna know how to respond to this stuff. Why am I putting it on them? So, not like that. And I also think that, like, as I said before, all my friends are way better at the stuff that I like than I am. I always feel like I have to prove myself with something. Whenever I get some sort of idea, I say it to them all the time just to show I have good ideas and I will go out on this idea. That video I made a while ago, walking up to people with a fake $2 bill, $2 or mystery gift, and it was a fake $1 bill, which if you knew how to translate any of the things on that bill, it was actually a $0 bill. Both of them were, technically, it's just paper that I drew. But like, I thought that was so funny, I went for it, and I was like, it's like, I don't have social anxiety, I don't think. I wouldn't say I have it anymore. I can walk up to anyone, say anything, really. That's from a lot of theater at my school. Just engaging in all that stuff whenever you can. It really helps quite a lot. So I do that, and I was proving I can do this stuff in front of these people. I can make this good idea too. It's funny. I'm gonna do it. I just keep feeling I have to prove myself. Am I a good actor? Yes. Something I really enjoyed was in a theater game we were doing. You partner up with one person. You're all on the stage. The theater teacher gives you an expression, and you have to do a freeze frame of it. And then he picks one person from each pair that did it better. Both times I was with my friend. I feel like I've talked about her on this channel. I don't know if I've used the name before. I don't think so, so I'll just use like the nickname Doodles. Yeah. So, Dee also really likes theater. I feel like she's more experienced than I am, and I think she does it better. But each time I paired up with her, I won. It felt very good, and I felt like I wasn't feeling guilty. I was thinking I should feel guilty for feeling good about winning against this person each time. It's because of the things I say about this person. I don't like using their real name. Nothing bad about this person at all. But the things I say, you may take that the wrong way. So, I'm not saying this name in case you find some sort of her channel, her videos, any information. Nothing bad. But this other friend, AJ, he shows up to these theater things just like every once in a while. I paired up with him on one of the rounds. He's just like, you're very good at this stuff. Will you please go easy on me? No promises. Oh man, very funny stuff, very friendly. I won against that guy. He's a very good sport. And he's genuinely impressed by what I do. I show like 3 major times when I showed acting things, I think. He admits he's very impressed, and that really makes me very happy to hear that stuff. That like my theater stuff is actually genuinely impressing this guy. But like, when I'm talking to these people about any of these types of things at my school, all my friends there, I'm gonna have to use real names. That's why I don't say stuff like I'll say on here without using a real name because you don't need that. But there, you probably would. Or I'll say that like my friend Doodles when yeah like when we're in script reading, she does way better than I do. Like I feel bad about myself each time. I genuinely feel insignificant compared to this person. And it feels weird for me. We both have acted out things as a pair in front of like one major. I think like just once really. We no twice. Wait. I'm just gonna say a few times as an example. I don't think it. I feel like it's technically an over exaggeration, even though few still means a small amount. But like a few times we've acted out skits and funny things in front of our friends. I like to think of us as like a theatrical duo. The teacher recognizes that now. He probably did a while ago. We always show up each time, always sit next to each other, always pair up with each other whenever we can. He recognizes it now. I want to establish that with my other friends who are now realizing we both do a lot of this theater stuff in comedy. I do that so that like if this person goes on their own, I'm going to be humiliated whenever I try to go on my own in front of my friends. So I'll stand up for all of my friends. I remember one time I was acting something out. There was just like a very minor role for like just a few seconds at the very beginning of something I was trying to act out for my friends. She didn't want to do it because she didn't remember the line and she did not want to say the line. If I was in her position, I would have done it because it's acting. You don't mean this stuff. Don't be scared of that. So, like, give me the most offensive line ever in a play. I'll do it. I don't care what character I get, really. I'll do it. Someone needs to play this role, so why not? Because I just think, you hear this stuff, it's like a funny thing. They're not gonna think of you and think you've done something embarrassing. They're gonna think of the moment and think, this moment is funny. That's the part you need to be thinking about. So she didn't want to do it. And so after I finished the act, my friend AJ, did I say his name earlier? The guy who was very impressed with myself. He said, that is the best thing I have ever heard. Best story ever. Why can't you be like him? I was just like, what do you mean? She's way better than me, AJ. You forgot the line, and you memorized the thing in a few minutes. I told him I memorized the whole thing in a few minutes. I didn't write it, but I memorized it. It was a Bo Burnham skit, Andy the Frog. I did the thing, and I also mixed in a few of his other jokes in between. And he was very impressed that because I really did like memorize the main thing, and just like I watched it once, and then kept thinking of it in my head throughout the day, and it just kind of stuck. And then I saw some more things, and I just kept adding that into my head, rearranging things, see what would work. So there's that. So he's just like, she forgot the lines, and just like immediately, she had like a few seconds to do. When she has a script, she's better than me, alright? I cry myself to sleep when she has a script. Okay, I didn't say that. I said something similar though, I won't lie. Very good actor. Very happy for this person. Because like she's had like a lot more opportunities because her mom really wants Noodles to do very good in the future. Her mother thinks she's gonna go into Ivy Leagues. I don't know how likely that is to know someone who goes. Well, you have people going to Ivy Leagues have to know some people. Those people are gonna know people who went to Ivy Leagues then. But I don't know. You never know. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Still, I wouldn't be surprised if she did or did not go into Ivy Leagues. But yeah, I don't tell people the full extent of how I feel about that person. To me, feeling like a better actor than I am, and I don't tell it to her because I don't want her to feel bad about this stuff, or for her to be like, "Why are you thinking so intensely about this? You're acting very weird all of a sudden." It's very difficult stuff. But um, this entire time, yet this room just has like a bunch of pictures in it. My friends, when I'm on like calls with my friends, they'll see this stuff. They're just like, "Why is there so many pictures in your room?" It's the living room. That's why. It's not my room. Very weird. That wall is a bunch of me. This wall is a bunch of my brother. His skin color keeps changing in them. I don't know why. I'm not even kidding. That sounds very bad, but like genuinely, it's very weird. I don't understand that wall. That's a corner, not a wall, really. That's just like a mixture. Oh, but yeah, this is a really weird room. Anyways, but like I've been playing the piano for 6 years. My friend Doodles plays the bass guitar. I don't know when she learned. She's in a band. She calls it a band. It's I guess you could say it's like that. She goes to like an after school program. It's only on one day throughout the week. So it's pretty much like classes. They're not really teaching it, they're acting like a band. They're like a cover band. One time they tried to write a song, but they usually just do covers. They messed up that one time. They made the title and then lyrics and then the music. So it failed. But I don't know if she learned bass guitar there or if she had like a good amount of experience. I'm not sure. But she told me about it, said I could sign up. Gave me no information about how that works, so I showed up. And then someone just immediately brought me straight to the band lab room. Like the teacher was just like, "Oh, a new person, I guess. Okay, cool." Or he had no clue what to think of it. So he was like introduced, just like, so Lou, do you know anyone here? One person. One person. Okay, cool. So there's that. Like the middle of the introductions, another staff member walked into the room, brought me into the office, just like, "Why are you here? Who told you about this? How do you know about this stuff? This is you gotta sign up for this stuff." She's like, "Clara said I could show up. I don't know how any of this works." So what happened? They called my mother, just like, "Yo, this is not how this works out. We're gonna sign him up though, so that he can show up in next." But I don't remember what this was. It was a few months ago. I think it was in October this happened. But I'm gonna have to show up in January, possibly. This is the first. They call it terms. This is the. I think they called it the spring term. No, or fall. I don't remember. The next. I think there was something about winter and spring. I guess they're in the winter one and the next one's spring. That's what it was, right? So I'm gonna have to show up in the spring semester in spring term in January. But this winter one, this is the first time she has been a part of it, so she doesn't know how it works. Doesn't know if it starts in January or if that's when they're gonna have to sign the people up. Because I signed up, and they're gonna have to call me randomly on a random day to schedule an appointment for when to do a what was it again? The word a I think it starts with an I, maybe an O. Oh my god, I completely forgot. The tutorial to Rec Room. I haven't played that game in like 3 years. Oh my god. Just call it an introduction, I guess. I'm very sorry for this. I'm sorry about this. But it's the I really don't remember. This is very awkward. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to. Orientation. That's what it was. It was to randomly call me on a random day and hope I pick up. Just say a schedule for an orientation, when to show up on on what day. They haven't done that yet. I don't know if they're gonna do it in December, the month directly before January, or if they're gonna do it in January. I'm not gonna be here for like a third of December. I won't be in America. I'm gonna go like to Colombia for Christmas break. Just see what's going on over there, I guess. So I hope they don't call me on December 23rd, specifically from December 23rd to maybe 26th. I don't know. No, no. Oh, I just remembered the exact. I was just saying like because that's the day after Christmas. Maybe I'd get back. No, I get back on January 2nd. I'm gonna hope that it doesn't start before that. I don't know. It's very worrying. But I felt very weird having like been told. I asked like, how does this stuff work? Can I sign up? Yeah, you can just sign up if there's room. That sounds. If you say so. So, so I asked, what? When does it show up? Mondays at this time. It was on a Monday. I went immediately. And this was just like, I was not expecting you to show up today. So I just immediately show up. Very weird. And I felt very weird afterwards. Yeah, that's stuff. This is over 30 minutes now. If this was 20 minutes, I think it'd be fine, but now it's 30 minutes. This is way over too long. So, tiny pieces of lettuce. I don't know if this is celery or pepper. It looks like celery. It smells like a pepper. I don't even like celery. I'm getting sidetracked. Um. Oh yeah, something I meant to bring up a while ago when I was originally starting on saying I feel like a burden to the people around me. It's that like I feel like a burden. I don't want to say the wrong stuff. They're all better than I am at my own stuff. That like I'll be in a conversation with my friends and I hardly have much to say to them, but their conversation flows so much. I'm just trying to get some sort of say in things in between, and it just like sometimes just feels very out of place, and I feel very out of place, and I feel like I shouldn't be here. And something that was happening like the year before, from a little bit seventh, like that's when I, in seventh grade is when I was first, and I guess technically somewhat in sixth grade when I first joined this friend group that I really got the full extent of it in eighth grade. It's like 30 people. 30 people. They all know each other. It took me so long to realize they all know each other and better than I knew any of them. And it was like so like, because they would show up afterwards, after I showed up, knowing all the people, and they knew everyone better than I did, which is very weird. I didn't like it. I felt very out of place. But I'm saying it's like somewhat like that now. Realizing that like a lot of my new friends either already knew each other or are starting to know each other. But I'm kind of one of those people too. I'm starting to become friends with a like I become friends with someone who's friends with my friends. I become better friends with that person than they do. I'm kind of doing it too. Like a person I was really good friends with in seventh grade became friends with Doodles. Doodles brings her over to the lunch table. He's like, I can use this person's name, Isabel. Doodles brings Isabel to the table. They're in a conversation. Isabel's just like, Lou? Isabel? Doodles just like, okay, so everyone knows each other. Great. Like my friend Jacqueline, who's like actually in the theater program, met her at like the first script reading, and then over time became more good friends with her friend Lily as well. Found that Lily is already friends with my friend Caitlin, who I met through Clara. Well, I'm like equally good friends with both of them, I think. Oh. So now they're all friends with each other. They were all friends with each other. I feel slightly out of the loop at all times. Strange. A thing they say all the time about me. I'm just at all times clueless all the time. I'll own it. I am. It's absolutely true. We're all just a little bit distant in our own way. Ow. But yeah. That's what that is. Nothing to do. Like my friend Felix, he introduced, because like I have lunch with Clara and all of her friends. Clara introduced me to a bunch of other people. A good amount of people. I had lunch with them every day. Very fun stuff. Like they're all talking with each other. I only know Clara. I talked to her the entire time. They're all talking. Conversation gets bigger and bigger as we add more and more people even. But I'm good friends with all of them. I can speak with them now. They're a lot more better than the other group of people I used to have lunch with. I was with my friend Felix, who I met in 7th grade, in the friend group. And he, after a while, introduced me to another group of friends. He's with Josh, who was friends with his brother the year before. Felix's brother graduates out there. But Felix had heard of Josh. He goes to be friends with Josh. Meets all of his friends. I don't like those people. Felix has good conversations with all of them. They all like things I don't. They have weird humor weird, overly offensive humor that I quite don't like at all. And then I'll say something to Felix. He doesn't respond. And then he just goes back to their conversation. I stopped hanging out with those guys. A while after, Felix was just like, yeah, those guys are weird. So he's hanging here with us now. We have good conversations now. So that's nice. And I forgot where I was going with that. Anyways. Yeah. Things are weird. This was a chance for me to just reflect on everything that's going on. I quite just explained everything from beginning to end. Like, something I keep thinking on. Claire, I think. I just said the person's real name that I was not meant to. Let's change the subjects now. So I'm not going to tell that story anymore until like a while later, or you're not going to realize who that person is. So this next story, my friend Doodles, as you know, big theater person. I'm a big theater person. We're friends over that. And yeah, my friend Tristan, who I knew, and like I don't know when I met him actually. He's just part of the friend group. He's kind of everyone in the friend group found him annoying, but just kind of knew him. Still knew him just as well. Funny guy. We still hung out with him. I'm good friends with him. He is quite all over the place though. Short-tempered, too small to really act too angry, but like do one wrong thing, he will consider you one of the bad ones. We stopped being friends for like a few weeks actually because of something small. Like our friend Caden did something to him. And I'm friends with Gaiden. I was there at the time. I didn't stop Gaiden. He stopped being friends with me for a week. And then just acted like nothing happened. He's a strange one, for sure. Tristan introduced me to Doodles. And then I became better friends with Doodles than Tristan was. Very interesting. Tristan didn't even know how to pronounce her name. Where was I going? Doodles is has like more opportunities. Like I said, her mother gives her more opportunities, thinking she's gonna do so much better in the future. So Doodles has a lot of opportunities, especially in theater, that I just don't have. I just kind of do it like I. It's always been somewhat part of me. I started a little bit in like the third grade when I do a bunch of plays. 3 plays. A bunch. That's quite a lot. But like, then I started just a little bit more in like the summer after 7th grade, just to kind of keep myself from being bored. And now is when it really starts. I go to all the theater stuff. I'm getting better. I'm good at this stuff. One time I cried out in agony as a joke, and my friend Ethan was genuinely worried about that. He's like, "Are you okay? It's not that big a deal." I'm acting, man. He was horrified, and we were out in public, in like the middle of a busy street. I don't have social anxiety. So that's the thing. Like, I was having a conversation with my family. He's like, "What do you want to be when you're older? Actor?" Really? You don't talk that much for an actor. I don't think you do that well. As a, like, I saw Doodles' channel where it showed like her old theater stuff. I saw that like so she had a lot of theater opportunities. She works as a counselor at like another place where she actually got the nickname Doodles. She's at that band thing. She has a lot more stuff that I just don't get. And she also goes to a magic camp. She goes to a lot of places. And I think she also, or at least at some point, went to camp after. I guess if not anymore, not a good example, but oh well. Dionysus is my biological father, and I don't go to that camp. But yeah, I saw on that channel so many opportunities, like so many theatrical things that like I cried myself to sleep that night, seeing how good this person is at doing this stuff, and without more opportunities. The profile picture, I feel like is taken from a photo shoot or something, like a professional one. One of the videos has the thumbnail being like a headshot, a professional headshot. It's creepy looking actually, but it still looks like that. And there's some auditions and self-tape submissions, monologues, things like that. There's a live panel she performed at for a commercial for a very big company. There's, if that's done, that's more fun. I'm not gonna talk about the runway video, but like a lot of stuff on there, a lot of opportunities. I don't know when she started all of that, but seeing how the opportunities thing is, mother trying to give all this stuff, it could have started very early. Maybe it did start before my 3rd grade thing, or maybe it didn't. Not really sure. Of course, it's about where things end. Do I become like very successful later on? Then this won't matter. Maybe I should be more successful. I don't want to say that because that's my friend. But that happens. What matters? It's that won't happen. It's about the experience that gets you to there. Less opportunities, less chances of good stuff. I don't know where I'll go in life. I'm moving to another country soon. I don't know what they're gonna have over there. I'm moving to an island. I don't know what they're gonna have on that island. I'm moving to a Spanish island. So I don't know what my life will lead. I talked to my friends. I'm just like, after college on that island, I'm probably gonna choose just on my own, move to America again. Some of my friends are just like, don't come back here. This place sucks. I'd want to leave as well. But it's just, I know how things work over here. Over there, I don't. By that point in time, maybe. But maybe there's no stuff over there until I realize how stuff works over there. I see it's not good. It's not what I want. I don't know. If you somehow actually managed to watch this whole thing, I don't know, like, why you did that. You had absolutely nothing else to do. You actually felt like doing this, or you just like took time out of your day to do this. Thank you if you did. I don't think anyone did. I'm saying this like there's gonna be any views. I haven't been getting any of those recently, so probably won't be. So probably absolutely no one will see a single bit of this video. But like, oh well. I just kind of needed somewhere to dump all this stuff.